Hey mate, welcome to the channel. My name is Dami. If you're new, welcome to the call. Anyways, I'm a Nigerian who moved from Nigeria in 2019 and moved to Australia. There are a lot of experiences that migrants have, but no one really talks about. Everyone is focused on the bliss and glamour that is popularized and that even make people move overseas in the first instance, but there are a lot of things people do not talk about. So if this topic is something that interests you, you want to know details of an African living in Australia or even who have lived in various countries, please make sure you grab your popcorn, sit down, relax and enjoy the video. Thanks Vera for inspiring this video. I'm going to link her YouTube channel. Vera Bella is a YouTuber as well. So she posted a video this week of, I think, her mom living in Australia and how this is going to affect her. You know, she's had a mom, she's had help, and now that mommy is gone, how is she going to maneuver two kids on her own? She hardly have friends around, which I can totally understand and I can relate to it. A lot of people on social media, we tend to post, oh, how life is good abroad, comparing it to where we're coming from. And yeah, I'm from Nigeria. So if you're looking at, you know, all the things, amenities you have here, the quality of life you have here, and comparing it to back where you're coming from, obviously there's a lot to be thankful for, and it's a wide difference. A lot of people don't talk about the mental impact it has on us, in as much as it's a life-changing moment. Like sometimes when I look back where I'm coming from, like I feel this light bulb in my head to say, God, I've come this far. But before we got to this point, there's a lot of things that have happened. And now even talking about Australia, for instance, like we live in Australia, right? In Australia, there are not a lot of black people. So imagine what happens in your head anytime you're out and about and you're seeing a lot of folks who are not like you. Like that alone can affect your mental health if you don't know where you stand and if you're not mentally prepared to face the shocker. For instance, I remember the first vacation I had with my kids when we came here. I think that we came in 2019, right? I think in 2021, we went on a vacation and we were lodged in an hotel on the Gold Coast. And I tell you, this hotel has hundreds of rooms, right? And it was fully booked. It was a school holiday period. So imagine what vacation looks like then. And there was no one black person in that hotel. In all the facility ground, like when we go to the water park, when we go around, we're the only black people. My kids would always ask, Mommy, why are we the only black people here? It does a lot to your mental health. Like, it does a lot. So, if you're going to be moving abroad, it's something you should actually also mentally prepare yourself for. Yes, there's constant light. Yes, there's all the facilities. Yes, there's security. But also, being away from people that look like you, number one, it does a lot to you. So, if you're not mentally prepared, you can easily fall into whatever, like be it depression, be it just sometimes you even be second guessing yourself, especially if you work in a corporate space and for instance in your office you're the only black person. Sometimes you almost ask yourself, what am I doing here? Am I better off? Is this person sniffing? Is it because I'm black? You know, you almost always second guess yourself and ask yourself, well, am I doing the right thing? Or is it because, like, you know, that thought will come to mind. It takes a lot of conscious effort to be able to separate what it is and what the actual reality of issues are as they come. So that's one thing for me that I know, like, it crossed my mind a couple of times, but I don't know how much of effect it had on me. Maybe because of the kind of organization where I work, where racism is a outright no. And I'm going to be filming another video where I'll be talking about my workplace experience working in Australia. As I think I was just one of the black persons when I started. We're just two black people when I actually started, and we've grown over time. But yeah, that I will treat in a separate video. But I feel like I've consciously helped myself to stay afloat of whatever the issues are. But yes, if you're moving abroad, you need to also think about it. I know it's not just black or people of color that experience whatever I've just talked about. I know that Asians also, they have their story. But yeah, because I'm African, I can only relate from this point. But I know that a lot of Asians have a lot of things to say about how they feel in the Western world or how they are treated. I know Indians also, they have their story. But this is something in particular that I struggled with when we first moved here. And just permit me to also say this, that whatever I'm saying in this video is not to undermine like how grateful I am, or I'm not complaining, or I'm not discouraging. I feel like that's another thing people talk about a lot, like, oh, you people are already there, you're discouraging someone, you don't want people to come. I'm not that person. If you ask about me, or if you've been following my channel for a long time, you know that I'm an advocate for, if you have the opportunity, please do relocate. It's a life-changing experience. So I'm just saying this so that people can mentally prepare themselves for what is ahead. I'm not using it's not a means to discourage you. I am grateful for the opportunity to even be here in the first instance, so don't ever see it that way. It's just, yes, these are the realities outside of the, you know, the beauty, the exotic adventures you guys see people abroad having. Outside of the, oh, beautiful house, beautiful, there's just a lot of struggles that most people will not come on social media to share. So that's the whole point of this video. I am grateful. I, for one, like personally, I'm eternally grateful for this opportunity, but that doesn't take the struggles away, and that's why I'm sharing this. Another thing people don't often talk about is the loneliness you face. Loneliness, oh my gosh, you don't even want to get me started on this topic. For starters, back in Nigeria, I'm one person who had lots of friends. Like, I was always in one friend group or the other. Let me start from my uni days so you know how much of a friendship person that I am. I had a very close friend, and then she had a friend before I met her and became close to her, and we had a friendship group. It was me and two other ladies. Happy for them, and they're doing fantastically well today. But like, it was me and these ladies were friends. We did everything together during school holidays, you know, we'll go out together. Like, I just love my friendship group. These were my own people, you know, the people I could always call my own. So I enjoyed that friendship up until, you know, it expired. You know, we went to uni, graduated, and then, you know, life threw us apart, which was perfectly fine. And then I started working, and I had a friendship group as well, which I feel like is the longest friendship I've ever had. And our friendship group when I was working in Nigeria were about 6. And you know, like, there's a struggle with a lot of friendship groups. It's a large number, and then people started leaving, the friendship group reduced, and eventually it became just me and Dami. And you'd have seen when we went to London. So that's how much I loved and cherished friendship groups. Even most times I'm the one who started the group, like the one I had in my workplace in Nigeria. So coming here and not having one single person I can call my friend, like someone I can actually pour my heart to, was a struggle. When I got to my workplace, right, and one thing you should know, especially if you're an Australian migrant, these guys, like the real Aussies, are not big on friendship. They are not friends with each other, talk less of me being friends with them. You know what I mean? When people are saying, oh, do you have Aussies as friend? I'm like, I go to work and it's strictly work. Like, I'm into the office, I'm sitting at my desk, and it's strictly work. Although when I first started working in my company in Australia, I joined with certain people. I think we're about 6 or 7 that joined together, and it was me, Neha, that you guys know, and another lady. And you know, we're forming friendship, we're all doing click things. But as time went on, they moved on, they left. So Neha left, the other lady too left. The other lady I was not really close to, but was close to Neha. But like, at least we used to have dinners, we used to go out together. But then again, there's still a gap of, this is where I'm coming from, this is what I'm used to, and this is what I'm getting. I'm still that person who is very conscious around them. Because they're from different culture and different background, there are certain things I'm scared to share to them. And like, there are a lot of disparity between our upbringing. Like, I'm of Christian faith, I'm a Christian, they are of different religion, there are just many things, and I'm always just so conscious so that I don't do things to hurt them. You know what I mean? So it's just, you know, tiptoeing around people, and it just felt very lonely, and it still is. Like, now I have few people I talk to, but I can confidently say that I have not found any friend here that I'm as close to like I used to be back in Nigeria. Even the people I would have been close to, they don't necessarily like stay close to me, or maybe they also have their other friends. I don't want to, you know, intrude and just be, you know, that kind of thing. I'm very friendship attached. But Australia has broken that bond. Like, before I used to do as if, no, I can't do without friendship. I remember when we first got married, my husband used to warn me about friendship a lot. He's like, oh my God, this friendship thing, you need to slow it down. But yeah, Australia taught me the hard way, and I'm now very detached. And I'm one person who can just be in my personal space, be minding my business for days, and would not bother but the loneliness was hard. I remember when I first came in, I would usually be on the phones with my friends in the UK, because most of my friendship group at the time, before I left Nigeria, they all moved to the UK and I came to Australia. I remember one of my partner asking me the other day, like before I left Nigeria, like, tell me, are you sure? Won't you miss your friend? That's how much people thought I was attached to friendship. Like asking me about the life decision to come to Australia, and they were going to the UK. Like, are you sure you're going to survive? Are you sure you don't want to look for another UK opportunity? And my husband was not keen on going to the UK, so I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do this with this man, and I'm hoping for the best, and thank God I did. So that is it. There's a lot of loneliness in this place. I just want to say that I've also tried to make friends here, but I don't even want to go into it. And the other thing about family as well, there's no family around, and it's even harder with the fact that Australia's time difference is a lot. You have people staying in Nigeria where you have over 10 hours or 13. I think I talk mostly with my cousin. My cousin lives in the US. There's a 13 hours time difference. Catching up sometimes is, you know, behind the event. There are things that would happen at a point in time, and I just want to rant. My sister also stays in the UK. Like, these are the people I'm really close to and can tell them the way my heart is, like how I feel. I can download it to them, word for word, how I feel. Every other person I have here, I'm tiptoeing what I say around them, not because they are bad people, just because I have to be conscious of what I say. I don't want to hurt anybody or go against. I'm just very careful. You know what I mean? I'm just very careful around people for my own sake, not because they are bad or anything. So there's no family, nobody. I can't easily drop my child with anybody and say that I'm going somewhere. I don't have that type of relationship with anybody. My husband is even outrightly against us dropping our kids with anybody. I'm not saying that I've not done it before. There's someone I used to do that type of arrangement with. My husband is 100% against it. He hates it so much. He just wants us to take care of our kids. He will be like, if you can't take care of them, why are you giving birth to them? So my husband is always, if you need to cancel a shift, if you need to not go to work to just do this, would always do it. So not having the support of family is also very, very, very hard. Back in Nigeria, during school holidays, I'll just take my children, go and dump them with my mom. I tried that a couple of times, and it was really, like, I felt so much relief, because they're on school holidays, I'm not on leave. It helps me to focus on work. So here now, when they're on school holidays, I either have to take leave at that point in time, or I have to manage work with the school holidays, so that, you know, we keep them busy as well. For instance, this last December, they were on school holiday and I did not take leave, and my kids will continually tell me, like, this last Christmas will forever be on their lips, and like that was their worst holiday ever, because we didn't get to do so much activities, because I actually went to the UK, but these kids, they don't just even understand. So there was nothing we did this last Christmas. We're just home because I had just few days break. I'd taken my leave in November. So it's really, really hard. It is really, really hard, because I know that if my mom or my sister was close to me, I would have just dumped them there. They would have fun. That's a mini vacation, and they would have liked. But being very far away, my sister in the UK, my parents in Nigeria, it is hard. My husband has no family whatsoever here. I do not have family. In saying that, I have my brother in Melbourne, but yeah, my brother, dropping my kids with him. Good job. So it's just really hard, and the journey can be very lonely at times. One thing I would say again is the fact that this has really helped me. It has built me to now internalize my problems. Before now, you know, when things are wrong with me, I'll just quickly pick up my phone and call my sister. But most times when things happen now, call my sister or call my cousin. But most times when things happen now, it's past maybe their midnight time. So I've just learned to, and if I don't say it in the spur of the moment, I move on, I forget about it, and I never talk about it. And then later when I'm talking to them or things come up and I say, they'll be like, but you didn't tell me. I feel like even my sister is always complaining that I don't tell her a lot of things, but it's just because I didn't say it at a point in time and I've just moved on. You know what I mean? So I feel like if you're not very intentional about your relationship with people, even that are not here, you would gradually lose people. And yeah, and even even Dami as well in the UK, I have to like call her. Even sometimes she's always complaining, you've not told me this before, I've not heard this before. But it's just because I didn't say it at that point in time, I've forgotten about it. But I'm very intentional about my friends, like Dami, very, very intentional. My sister and my cousin, like the three of them, they're always in my space. But it is a struggle. It's just a lonely journey here, very lonely. Like sometimes I just want to do a girls' night, come around, but And Neha as well. Neha has so many friends. Like, you don't even want to go to Neha's topic, but she's amazing. But yeah, it's just a lot. It is a lot. It is a lot. And people are busy. Like, to top it off, a lot of people here are very, very busy. There are people I admire. I'm like, oh, I wish I can be closer to this person. But people are busy. I'm busy myself. I am extremely busy myself. So it's just a lot. So prepare yourself. If you're a friendship person like me, it's gonna be a struggle, or you're going to learn to be independent, which I feel like that's what have happened for me in the last 4 years. I've grown to a point where I'm now very withdrawn, I'm independent, I make decisions of myself. Before I'll call somebody, what do you think? Should I do this? Should I do that? But now I just make my decision and I keep it moving. It has helped me in a way, but anyways, so that's it with loneliness and absence of family and friends. Another thing people don't talk about is cultural differences. You don't even want to get me started on this one, and I feel like I've touched base on it a little bit in the last point about loneliness. But cultural differences can be like, sometimes you almost think, oh, this is nothing. But let me give you a very good example. Adaptation will be hard. Like, it's really hard. So example is, back home, when somebody sends you an email, sometimes you just know the response to give to the person. Like, you just want to do that's like, okay, a good example. Oh God, I'm trying to be very careful. For instance, somebody is saying, oh, Dami, I have this challenge. And like, maybe as Nigerian that I am, I'm like, is that a problem? I literally want to tell you, are you kidding me? Is this a problem? Please get serious and get to work. But in this environment, there are things you don't play with levity. There are things you don't just, joke around, especially if you're in a position to guide someone. Like, if you're somebody's mentor in the office, or you're just in a position of leadership. There are many things that is expected of you. You're not meant to belittle people's emotions, which I believe even that is beyond cultural differences. You're meant, like, in whatever environment you find yourself, you should not belittle. Like, I'm even big on it. But there are many things we joke with as Nigerians that you can't joke with here. You have to just be, put up a straight face. When people are complaining about certain things, and I'm like, oh yeah, true. But back home, if somebody had told me, I'm like, are you okay? Please go get I don't know what I'm trying to say makes sense, but there's just a lot of cultural differences. Even talking about that, when I was in Nigeria, all my boss, my senior managers, my directors, they were my friends. Like, we go to each other's house during the holiday. Like, there were a lot of rapport we had as co-workers, right? Which was beyond the work. But here it is not the case. Like, I was telling my husband the other day that when I go to work, I'm at my desk. The only thing that makes me stand up from my desk is I'm going to the bathroom and I'm back, or I need to get into a meeting room. I don't go to anybody's desk to chit chat. You will hardly find me do that. I have one guy that I disturb a lot. Like, I just walk past his desk and then I'm just swinging his chair. Like, you know what I mean? Is black, is African, he will understand my joke. But I won't do that to somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, the boundaries, I made it very clear because I do not want trouble. So these guys don't even know themselves that much. Things that I knew about certain people I was working with in Nigeria in 1 month, I don't know it about people I've worked with for the last 4 years. And these are people who talk a lot. Like, some of the things they also do, which is interesting, is they talk a lot. When you join meetings, people want to bond, they want to know beyond the work, which is good, is one of the social skills you should learn. But you still don't know a lot of things about certain people. So it's just interesting how, the setting here is a struggle to adapt. It's a struggle to set into the system. But one thing I would say is take it one day at a time. It gets better. Now I'm used to it. I go into meetings and, people are like, especially on Fridays, oh, Dami, do you have anything interesting planned for the weekend? Oh, no, my activities are planned around my kids. I don't do much. Like, and you giggle. Sometimes they say things I have zero idea about, or maybe they're talking about Australian football, or they're saying anything that 80% of the time I don't know what they're talking about. 80% of the time I don't even understand what they're saying. But I wear my smile and I'm just seated here for the meeting to get started. I'm not, sometimes maybe my face says a lot. I'm uninterested. My face always gives me out. That's the thing, but that's never my intention. But yeah, that's just some of the experiences I've had in the last 4 years and counting, and I promise you it gets better because at some point you become so used to it and very indifferent about what's happening. So cultural differences is a thing and it is a struggle. One interesting one for me is how it affects your marriage. To be honest, it's a lot of things. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly. When we first came in, I don't know if you're new, you might not know. When we first came in, right? I came in on a work visa. I was the one who got the job and started working. So my husband is also an accountant and has over 10 years experience when we came in. It was initially a struggle for him to get a job in Australia, and this had a huge strain on our marriage. I won't sugarcoat it. It had a huge strain. So look at it from the angle of the fact that when we were in Nigeria, my husband was, in charge of most of our household expenses. He would pay rent. I had no idea how much he used to pay, like how he paid rent. And coming here, we pay rent. Rent is paid monthly, and the first month we had rent. Like I think our savings gave us a grace of 3 months rent, so we had that when we came in. And then the 3 months ended with his plan was, oh, he would definitely get a job and he would take care of things as he used to do in Nigeria. But the game abroad is just different. Like this man did not get a job, and this started straining our marriage. Like we had so many issues, so many. Like my husband is not a social media person. I wish he was. I would have sat him down to just explain his journey, and I know that a lot of people will learn from it. And I'm sharing this today because I gave a little bit of this story on Instagram the other day, and a lady messaged me and said, hey Dami, I've just come into PwC Australia, and this is exactly the phase we are at. And she was like, thank you so much, this is uplifting. If I can find the DM, I'll actually put it up here. This is uplifting and encouraging, because I was just saying it gets better, it gets better. Like shout out to my mom, my sister, and my friends back then that I used to rant to. It was just so much of a struggle. I don't know how much of this I can share because my husband is very private, but I just wanted to know that it gets better. My husband wanted to be the provider, but the reality of being a provider was just not there. He wanted to take care of things, like that's what he's always known to do. He could not do it, and he struggled to find a job. And it's what it is. Like it had a strain on our marriage. It gets better. I'm trying not to say too much, but it gets better because as soon as he got a job, he took up his responsibility and he did a lot of things to get to this point. So if you guys want to know, I'll ask his permission and I can share like the journey with you guys. But it has a lot of strain on marriages. A lot of marriages survive the struggle. A lot of people never get out of it. A lot of people, it leads to divorce. One thing I realized in all of this is the fact that we got to a point where we now realize that we don't have anybody. Like we're in Australia, we don't have anybody apart from each other. This brought us closer. I can tell you confidently that relocating helped our marriage. But that was not where we started, right? But it brought us closer. We didn't have anybody. There's nobody there's no Darasimi that I can quickly pick up my phone and rant about my mom is sleeping. So we just had each other. So we learned and grew to resolve our problem and move past it and get things working. Which, like, it's just funny. We just have each other. So how long can we fight for? We fought less, although in saying that as well, we came here when our marriage was 6 years. Now we are over 10 years. So as they say, as you grow, as you live together, you start getting, we hardly fight. We're not perfect. We're not close to perfect. But I can say that a lot of bickering, a lot of all those, things that normally will make you gaga, or something that can just happen and you step out and call your friends, or you hang out with your friends in the evening and you tell them like, that's rubbish. Why? And I had those type of friends, bad influence. And you tell your friends and you're like, hey, this happened. They're like, no, me, I can't take that too. Not knowing that they can even take worse. So all of that is gone. I don't have any friend I can talk about my husband to. So we're just living in our own bubbles, enjoying life. So yeah, those are the few things I feel like you would experience and might be a shocker to certain people. And then yes, I know that a lot of people, another struggle people have is their husband is not homely. I am lucky, I would say that my husband has always been homely, so none of this house chore. I didn't have a help in Nigeria. I usually get people to come and help clean and once in a while. But my husband has always been homely, taking care of things, taking care of the kids. So it was never a struggle. I know that's another struggle people face. It is going to be hard if it's just one person doing all the chores. It's not realistic in this type of environment, but that was none of our own struggles. It's been our life from Nigeria. We lived in Lagos. My parents lived in Ogun State, so it's always been us, right? So it was just it's the finance part that really affected us, and thank God we grew past it or overcame, if that's a good word to use. But we are here now, 4 years in. We will do this again. Like I always say, yes, we will. Like, best decision of our lives that we made. So I feel like that's everything I wanted to share in this video. Moving abroad is beautiful. Moving abroad will change your life depending on how you use it. Remember, when the same opportunity is given to two different people, we use it differently. For me and my family, we are eternally grateful for this opportunity, and we'll definitely take it and do it all over again. It's been life-changing. Like, seriously, it has been. I'll leave you with this word. The realities of living abroad extends beyond the surface. It's about resilience, adaptation, and most importantly, the strength to overcome obstacles. I hope God gives you the strength to overcome them when they come and you come out victorious. Anyways, that's the end of this video. If you're yet to click the like button, please do so now. Continue the conversation in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.